So how do you stay more committed to get stuff done? In the last 20 years, I figured out there's certain things that we do that get results, and there's certain things that we don't do that doesn't get results. So what is the differentiator? What's that number one thing that really helps you stay committed? So for me, I'm always thinking about when I wake up in the morning, is it something that I feel compelled to do? If I was to say to you right now, there's three things you want to think about when it comes to staying really committed at something. The first one is, does it bring you joy? Is what you're doing right now, is it joyful? Like, do you feel happy when you do it? And if you don't feel happy when you do something, then why do you keep doing it? So you have to think about everything that I'm doing right now, does it bring you joy? Like when I'm creating content, does it bring me joy? Yes, because I get to impact. I sat down with a friend yesterday and she said, John, like for you, it's a lot about business. And for her, it's a lot about relationships. When you're talking about two different things, like what's on your radar, like the number one thing you got to think about, and this is a tip for all of you, if you're struggling to follow through and take action, it's probably because you don't want it bad enough. It's probably because you're making up excuses of why things should be happening and things aren't happening. If you ever find yourself, saying to yourself, oh, I can do this, and you use the word but, anything that comes after but is an excuse. Right? Oh, I can't do this because, or you make some kind of excuse when you're doing it, it means that you're not really committed to do it. And so from time to time, I always think about whenever you want to do something, does it bring you joy? The second thing is, are you naturally good at it? Are you naturally good at doing this thing? Because if you're naturally gifted and you're good at something, guess what happens? You tend to do more of it. How many of you have been with friends before and you do something, you don't think you're that good at it? Your friend goes, oh my God, you're amazing at that. How many of you have been to karaoke with your friends before? Your friend starts singing and he or she's got an incredible voice. Like, oh my God, your voice is amazing. They start to sing again. They start to practice. They start to get coaching in it. They start to do more karaoke. You see, it's the little things that actually what you're good at is what you should be doing. If you do that, combine that with joy, that's how you can stay more focused. A lot of the times, I'm always trying to think about how do I stay focused? Why do I do the things that I do? And you keep asking that question over and over and over again, you start to get a different response to things. I want you to look at like, what are you good at? Are you good with people? Are you good at your job? Because actually, things that people are really good at doesn't always bring them joy. Like I know people who are really good at real estate, but it doesn't bring them joy. That's one of the reasons why I stopped investing in property myself and I have my team go and invest in property for me, because it didn't really bring me joy. What brings me joy is when someone watches the video, they send me a message saying, John, that video that you created, oh my God, that really changed my life. Or that thing that you talked about, I can really resonate with that. Or I'll say something and it would just change the entire trajectory of their life. That for me is what brings me joy. So my question to all of you is, what brings you joy and what are you good at? The third thing that you need to also start discovering is, what problems can you solve for people? So if you want to stay focused, these things, like for example, for me, one thing can absolutely solve for people. If you're in business right now and your business is not making money, I can change a few things in your business and your business will make money. Or some of you are like, well, John, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. One of the problems I can solve is I can ask you a few questions and within a very short space of time, find out exactly this is the route you need to be moving at. But essentially, my friend of mine said to me, people don't always want to be told the solution to things. Sometimes they want to figure out the solution by themselves. Again, we're talking about how do we stay focused and committed. Like you say you're going to do something, but you don't do it. So what's the thing that stops you from doing it? What's the thing that you always say to yourself, you know what? Every time I do this thing, I get put off by this, or I get distracted by this. And you have to know what your distractions are. That's why you got to look at what things that you do, like are there certain environments that you go to that distract you? Are there certain things that you do that distract you? Are there people that you hang around? Are there times of the year, times of the day? You have to know when your strength and your power is, because when you do that, you'll start to get more traction of moving forward. And so every time I think about doing something, like, does it bring me joy? Am I good at doing it? People say, well, John, what if it brings me joy, but I'm not good at doing it? What if I love playing tennis, but I'm not good at tennis? Guess what? You got to learn. Get a tennis coach, right? Get somebody who can show you the way, right? Because here's the thing, the more you enjoy something, the more you do it. The more you do it, the better you get. The better you get, you don't really think about it, but you just get good at that thing. And every time I do things, whether it's in business, entrepreneurship, whether it's health, because health is super important as well, it's like these three things, you can start gauging the direction that you want to be going in. For example, let's say a problem that you can solve is something that you do in your job. Could you monetize that? Could you do some consulting? I know a lot of people that work in a full-time job and after they finish work, they're 9 to 5 from the 6 to 12, they do consulting work, but that consulting work should be flexible. When it's flexible, you can do it when you want, however you want, and you can choose the terms and the times that you want to work. That's why if you look at people that do Uber, people that do Lyft, like that's flexible. You can work on your own terms in your own time. And then my prediction is in the future, there's going to be 3-day working days during the week, and people will have 3 jobs. So I call it the 3-3. 3 working days and they'll have 3 jobs, and they'll have 1 main job and 2 consulting. Because now if you think about it, it's so expensive to live now, isn't it? When you are trying to stay committed, you got to keep asking these 3 questions because it kind of builds momentum. Like if I really love to help people, right? For me, I can sit down with someone, I can have a conversation all night about where they are, here's what I'm going to get to, here are all the things in the way, let's knock each one out of the way. And then if you do that, you'll get here. That for me, I can do that all day, every day. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm here because, we run a lot of masterminds and these sort of inner circle meetings, we run retreats where I get to sit down with people, find out where they are, and then just each set this plan and then rush and get through this plan to get to the end result. And to be able to make sure that every time you do something, you've always got to come with that does bring me joy. Because here's why. Business is hard enough. Entrepreneurship is hard enough. You don't want to be doing something that you start to resent, that you're not good at doing. That's why you won't stay focused. And actually, it's much easier to stay focused if you know exactly what you want. It's much easier to stay focused when I know the direction I'm going in. It's much easier to stay focused when I have other people around me saying, wow, John, that thing that you did, that's really good. And then it encourages you to do more of it. And I feel that sometimes with many people, they don't really know what brings them joy. They are kind of mediocre at stuff. And the problem they're solving, and that's why they say the amount of money that's in your bank account is in direct proportion to the amount of people that you've helped. So if you want to be a millionaire, you help millions of people. You want to be a billionaire, you help billions of people. You heard me say this a lot. But I want you to start asking the questions. The quality of the question determines what the answer is going to be. And so if you say to me, John, I'm really good at this, it brings me joy doing that. And of course, I can help someone solve this. And here's the thing. Here's the great news on why that 3rd question is so important. When you ask these 3 questions on a consistent basis, it keeps you on track. And in life, what happens, we kind of veer off this way, and we kind of go in a direction and we ask the question again and it goes, and it brings us back on track. That's what I want for all of you, which is why, again, if you know somebody who is really struggling to follow through, who's really like they're trying their hardest and for whatever reason they just can't get started, do me a favor, forward this video to them right now. Copy the link, share it to them on WhatsApp and let them watch it. Because here's what happens. Momentum creates action, creates emotion, creates results. And when you have these things, they start to compound, right? That's why when you have these 3 things together, you've got joy, you've got your thing that you're good at. And if you're not, if you're mediocre, upskill. Because you actually get paid to the skill level that you are at. Then you go, well, John, that's not true because I've got a PhD and I'm only making this much money. It's because you don't have the joy and the 3rd part in there. How many people do I know graduate with an incredible degree, they've gone to an Ivy League and yet they're still broke because they're missing the other 2 elements. This is what I want you to and really need you to understand, because every time I think about doing something, I ask these 3 questions. And why does the 3rd one create income? Because you get paid on the size of the problem that you solve. You get paid on the size of the problem that you solve. So when I'm doing consulting, the clients that I work with, they make over 7 figures a year in revenue. So if you're watching this and you make over 7 figures in revenue and you want to get to 5 million or 10 million and above, drop me a message. This is what I guess my zone of genius is, because I can see that, okay, they already spend money on marketing. They already have a team. They already have this niche, but they're not doing these 4 or 5 other things. And it's those things that make a big difference. So whenever you are looking to do something, like these 3 things all have to play a part. Like you can't just have the part that makes money, right? How many of you are working a job, makes a lot of money, but it doesn't bring you joy? Or how many of you are really good at something, but you're not getting paid the money for it because the joy part's missing? Or how many of you have the joy, but you're not good at it and it's not solving a problem, but you're just kind of happy doing it? All 3 things by themselves don't really work. But when you combine them together, it compounds. You make money. You get fulfillment. And that's the most important part. Some people ask me, John, why do you fly halfway around the world? And why do you just do a keynote and fly all the way back? Because it's fulfilling. Right now may not be the best use of time, but when all 3 things are connected, you start to see the correlation of what's happening, because the joy makes you happy. Happy starts attracting great things. When you have better energy, when your frequency is set, it's tuned and it attracts those people. My friend talked about this concept of sympathetic resonance. His name's Paul McKenna. A buddy of mine, and we sat down and he's like, John, like if you have a piano and another piano and you play a C chord on one piano, it will cause the other C chord on this piano to vibrate. It's why rich people attract rich people. It's why broke people attract broke people. It's why misery likes misery. So When I started to understand the joy is actually the fuel for staying focused. Like honestly, sometimes like I look at all the things that I do, like literally flying here, coming here, after a back-to-back event, after I landed at the airport, have another meeting, even going to the airport in the car having meetings. What I'm like, geez, like people say, John, that's over the top. But why do I do it? Because it brings me joy. Right? And people might say, well, John, does that burn you out? Here's the thing. Stress and anxiety are kind of like certain frequency, but then it's very close to excitement. It's very close to epiphany moment of, oh my God, this thing's gonna happen. You have to start asking yourself the question again, three things: joy, and what are you good at? And also, is it solving a problem? If you can solve this and you can find the answer to these three things, your commitment level and your follow through will be 1000%. This is why it's always important to attend seminars. It's why it's always important to hang around intelligent people. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're gonna go broke pretty quick. So this is why you gotta really pay attention to your surroundings and pay attention to where you wanna be as well. If you like this, I'm gonna link a video after this as well, because that'll really help you get a bit of clarity on this. And if you like this, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, it'll really help the channel. And again, share it with somebody who is really struggling to follow through right now. Other than that, check out this video here.